turn our attention to Mexico, because Mexico's President Andrés Obrador has been accused of going backwards on climate and energy policies at a crucial time for the country. Since being elected in 2018, he's halted renewable energy projects and invested billions of dollars into state oil company Petróleos Mexicanos. I've got my guest here to help me with the pronunciation. Joining me now is Gabriel Cuadri, congressman and former presidential Mexican candidate. Thanks very much indeed for joining us today.
Thanks to you.
What do you make of Mexico's contribution to COP26, given that your president has chosen to stay away?
Well, it's a very disappointing participation. The Mexican delegation has a very low level. It is not prepared to address the basic and the most important topics of COP26. It's only addressing peripheral topics. It has no clear ideas about more ambition of putting together a new NDC that can comply with the expectation of a 45% reduction of emissions for 2030. It has no clear position about carbon markets, about finance, and about transparency and accounting and verification. The Mexican delegation is only trying to put a curtain, a smoke curtain, to project to the world that they are working hard, but in reality, the only topics that they care for are topics that are important in themselves, but are not the topics of the COP, like human rights and gender issues and children's rights and whatever. And I think that this is the result of the direct decisions that has taken the Mexican president, President Andrés López Obrador. He really doesn't care about climate change. He doesn't care about energy transition. He doesn't care about the environment. He has all but dismantled the environmental institutions in Mexico. He has put the country in a regression, in an energy regression towards fossil fuels. He has aborted or interrupted a very important energy transition process that Mexico had in previous years towards clean energy, towards renewable energy. And now he's trying to rebuild the monopoly of Petróleos Mexicanos and the monopoly of in electricity of the National Electricity Commission, blocking, as I said, private firms that produce clean energy. At the end, what President López Obrador wants is to get rid of fuel oil, because he's trying to refine much more petroleum in Mexican refineries that are not prepared for this task, and they are producing a lot of fuel oil. And this fuel oil is very polluting. It's almost as polluting as coal. And Mexico is now burning more and more fuel oil in the electric plants. So at the end, and these electric plants are property of the National Energy Commission. So this is a very perverse initiative: block clean energy, rebuild the monopoly, and put the old plants of the National Electricity Commission to work with fuel oil to get rid of this fuel oil that is being produced in the Mexican refineries.
The president has explained why he's not come by saying if you want to protect the environment, it's all about action and not talk. And he's accused the summit of being hypocritical. He says people fly in their private jets and then don't achieve anything. I mean, does he have a point there? He thinks this is a talking shop. He doesn't feel that this is the way to make concrete decisions.
The problem with the Mexican president is that he does not care about the world. He does not care about international relations, about foreign policy, and about the great issues that the world is confronting now. He despises environmental topics. He despises environment. He despises climate change. He despises climate change policies, and he is not prepared to deliver a coherent speech in COP26. He doesn't believe in climate change, and his obsession with fossil fuels prevents him from coming and honestly addressing something coherent at COP26.
What about Mexico's program to prevent deforestation? The president has talked about investing billions of dollars a year in promoting this cause. He says it's going to create thousands of jobs. I mean, that must be something that you welcome.
It's nonsense. It's a subsidy program that is basically designed to buy votes and buy the goodwill of the people for electoral purposes. This program...
But if it results in preventing deforestation...
No, not at all. It's the contrary. This program is provoking deforestation. Why? Because the peasants in Mexico, what are they doing? They are clearing the forests, or they are clearing the new growth forest in order to get the subsidies of the government. The World Resources Institute has made a very thorough study, and it has gotten to the conclusion that this program is causing the deforestation of around 75,000 hectares per year in Mexico, and there is many evidence of this problem, and it is really obvious and it's logical, because if you pay 5,000 pesos to a poor peasant in Mexico to participate in the program, he will deforest everything and he will get rid of the forest to get this money. So it's terrible, and it is a program that has no criteria on carbon sequestration. It has no ecological or biodiversity criteria, and it is housed in the Ministry of Social Policy. It's not housed in the Ministry of Environment, not in the National Forest Commission, not in the National Natural Protected Areas Commission, and that expresses clearly that it is a politically oriented program.
What about the public mood in Mexico? We've talked to a number of activists at this conference from all around the world. How strong is that movement in Mexico? Is the public on the side of environmentalists, or are they on the side of jobs, even if they're related to the fossil fuel industry?
It's very disappointed because President López Obrador is a populist. In many ways, he is similar to Donald Trump. And he has the power of convince many people. He's popular, that's the problem. And a large proportion of the Mexican population believes him, and he lies every day. He uses lying as a tool for governance. And unfortunately, this is what happened with all populists. Lies, and he's trying to cover up all the mismanagement of the country, the economic mismanagement and environmental mismanagement.
So do you mean then the public is divided on this? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the Mexicans are divided, and I have to recognize that President López Obrador still has an important popular base. That is clear. No?
And what about this COP26? We've had the draft text being revealed today that will be worked on by different countries and parties over the next few days until an agreement is reached. I know you've not had a chance yet to read that text, but what's your impression of the progress that's being made?
I think that this text is a very important step forward. It would be a breakthrough in the climate negotiations, because it talks about much more ambitions, new NDCs that can fulfill the objective of 1.5 or 2 degrees centigrade with the objective of reducing emissions 45%, 50% to 2030 and net zero to 2050. It speaks about letting coal back and accelerate the transition to renewable energy, and it talks about financing to poor countries. So I think that is a document that can be a breakthrough. What I don't know is what's going to make the Mexican delegation with this, because the Mexican delegation is not in accord to make a new NDC to reduce emissions. Actually, the last NDC of the Mexican government that was presented to UNFCCC on 2020 implies more emissions than the previous one. So they are trapped, this Mexican delegation is trapped between this obsession of the president with hydrocarbons and petroleum and the pressures in the COP.
This summit is hosted by the UK, of course, and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is due to arrive arrived this afternoon. He wants to try to get everybody to sign up and make some movement. Do you think he has the power to do that from someone from outside of the UK? How much credibility do you give to his ability to move things on?
I think that the Prime Minister Boris Johnson has the ability, has the power, and has the will to move COP26 forward. I think that he has converted to environmentalism, and I think that he has the knowledge and that he has the leadership. He can provide the necessary leadership to move the COP26 forwards and to adopt a document like this. What I really lament is the position of my government, and that Mexico is going backwards, and that Mexico, that once was a leader country in environment and in climate policy, now it's an outlier. It's a pariah. It's becoming a pariah, and that is very hard for us Mexicans.
Okay, well, Gabriel Quadri, very interesting to hear your take on what's going on in Mexico. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.